Cem Mansur, welcome to Stiftung Mercator. What brings you to Essen?
Well, I'm in Essen for a concert on Saturday at the wonderful Philharmonia, which is one of the most magnificent concert halls I've seen anywhere in the world. And we have an orchestra of young musicians, about 40 young musicians, put together from two cultural capitals of Europe, Istanbul and Essen, obviously. But this doesn't belong to either of the official programs of the Capitals of Culture. That was just the idea that this wonderful young Euroclassic festival in Berlin had as a starting point to put young musicians from the two cities of culture together. And we're playing a concert of a concert that shows the influence of Turkish military music in the 17th and 18th centuries on the Viennese classics, as well as some Mozart, the Jupiter Symphony, which doesn't show any of this influence, but it is one of the big masterpieces of the human imagination. And we also have an ensemble of Ottoman musicians, Ottoman classical musicians with us. They are not Ottoman themselves, you'd be happy to know, otherwise they'd be terribly old. They play traditional court music instruments. And they will play on their own for about 10 minutes, and also the young Turkish composer Evrim Demirel has been actually asked by me and the Young Euroclassic Festival in Berlin to write a piece especially for this ensemble and the classical orchestra to explore the contrast between Ottoman court music and a very contemporary Western language. So it's a youth project, and it's a one-off thing. We hope to repeat it in Istanbul sometime. But it's a wonderful experience to do a concert in a great hall and for these musicians to play in such magnificent surroundings.
Why did you choose to work with young musicians?
Well, working with young musicians is really the most satisfying part of my professional life. It's what keeps me alive and in a spiritual sense, more than anything I do. Although I spent most of the year working with professional orchestras, naturally. But I'm the founder of the Turkish National Youth Orchestra. We've just finished our 4th year with concerts in some pretty important places like Berlin and Rome. And working with young musicians is a special pleasure because you have all the freshness and all the enthusiasm still there. And when we talk about young musicians, we're talking about young musicians at almost university level or mostly university level, which means that they are very proficient at their instruments. They still practice. They don't have any kind of bitterness about a profession that sometimes may creep in as a negative effect, but so you have all the enthusiasm and all the love. You have people who have not forgotten why they chose to become musicians, which can also sadly happen in the profession. Not a lot, but it does happen. And it's I'm rejuvenated by their energy every time, and it's a fantastic thing to share one's experience and also learn from them, learn about the essence of music, which can sometimes pass you by when you're taking things for granted when you work with professional musicians who know it all. And nobody knows it all because we are all at the service of a great composer always. And it's a wonderful interaction, and it is, as I said, it is what makes my life meaningful more than anything else. Working with young musicians, you see, this was a good thing we did today, and that doesn't always happen, but with young orchestras happens every time.
What motivates you, and what is your strategy of succeeding?
Well, what motivates me, I think, motivates me to get into trouble by creating things like yet another youth orchestra and that kind of thing, which is not very safe, not a very safe way of existing as a musician. What motivates me is really a willingness to share, a need to share, and not it sounds sometimes a little megalomaniac that who am I to share something. It's a certain experience and a certain vision of the music, and wanting to have more people belong to that. And that is what motivates most of my work, is trying to understand what those great geniuses' work means, why they are relevant today, to show the world why this music written 100, 200, 300 years ago in Europe has universal qualities, why I believe it conveys universal values of humanity and civilization, and to share these ideas with everybody. To share ideas of civilization, really, through music, and music is the greatest means to do that with. When you talk about success and succeeding, when you ask a musician who's not a composer, not a creator, but an interpreter, a performer, about success, the answer can very often go in the wrong direction. For me, success is understanding what Brahms wrote better every time I conduct it, or I conduct the same work. Or success is if I work with an orchestra of 100 people and 75 of them think that I have managed to convince them about my ideas and motivate them to do their best in the service of not my vision but of the vision of Brahms or Beethoven. That is for me success. It's not necessarily more concerts, more money, more good reviews and all the rest that goes with it, which is also of course always very nice, but success is really the feeling of having served the composer and made him come alive one more time for that public that was there at the concert hall that particular night.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.